Right then.
Right then, right
Hello,
then.
hello, everyone. Lovely to see so many people in the comments already. We've been here, the internet's in and out, so we're hoping, fingers crossed, that it will maintain so that we can do this live, because we've got so much to tell you. This has been one of the best trips ever. So if you can hear us, okay, just let us know in the comments. Get your questions in there, because obviously I think there's going to be lots of questions about obviously our land tour. We started in Calgary and we're now in Alaska, so we've covered so much, haven't we?
We've covered so much ground, but we're hanging on a thread of internet.
We are. So if it starts buffering stuff, we might have to abort, but let's see if we can so if anyone's there that can hear us and see us, then do let us know. So let's start with some questions then, and we'll say hi to everyone as we're going through. Loud and clear. Brilliant. Thank you. I'm going to start with a very special man who we met in Calgary called Kevin Austin. We just want to give a big shout out to Kevin. Who? Firstly, for surprising us at the airport, which was the best start to the holiday, and then spending time with you, Kevin, in Banff. It was brilliant. You're just a lovely, lovely man. And we laughed. We were just belly laughing, weren't we?
It's the world of the internet is such a strange thing, because it felt like within, half an evening, it felt like we'd known Kevin, which is so nice that he didn't try and murder us or anything, because, you never know, do you? So he didn't take us back to his place and tie us up in his basement. So all stuff like that is always very
lovely.
It was lovely.
Yeah. So thanks, Kevin, for doing that, and also thank you for this book. He gave us a present of this book, which basically for our cruise. If I get the right page, I had it open just a minute ago. It just shows all the history, obviously, of this part of the world. I don't know if you can see that. You see that? Yeah. Anyway, it's been brilliant, and I've thoroughly enjoyed that. So thanks, Kevin, and hopefully our paths will cross again, because that was brilliant. So let's see who's here. So Frank and Jenna from New Mexico. So lovely to see you here, and Jack's here, all the regulars. So good to see you. And Corinne's here from Calgary. Yes, Corinne's visiting family. Been listening to the cricket commentary. That's not your favourite thing, is it? Cricket, Paulie Morgan.
Is that the Ashes? Is it?
Don't know.
Dunno.
Barbara's here as well, so love to see Barbara. Woke up early to see you guys. Fun start to the morning. And Sean's here, so lovely to see Sean. So if you've got a question, please do start it with question so that we can pick it out from the comments. So let's go to the first question that we have. Let's see. Question from Andy and Carla. What was it like to do an escorted holiday? Did it feel restricted, or could you do your own thing if you wanted? Thinking about doing a trip for our 40th, but I'm sure whether it's for me.
Can I ask you one thing before you start? What's that word there before holiday?
Escorted.
Because you always say escorted.
Do I?
Yeah.
Well, it's escorted.
It is.
For me, it's been busy. It's been really busy, and we haven't had a huge amount of time to ourselves on the first part of our Titan travel tour, but we've seen so much and met so many fantastic people. I've loved it, and I definitely want to do another escorted tour. I thought Paul would really struggle with the mornings.
You said escorted.
Did I say escorted again? And we have been tired.
As you can see, I'm not tired at all.
What have you enjoyed this?
I might have to check these bags in at the airport.
So what was so nice right from the start for our escorted tour is we got picked up at the house, and then we picked up a couple in Swindon. So Andy and Judy, if you're watching, hi, because we just got on with them straight away, and they've been with us all the way through, obviously, because they're on the same tour.
And we're back.
So that was great. So you get to see your group very early on, and you get to know them because you sit with them on the plane. And we've had a fantastic group of 45 people that nobody's actually been very annoying, have they?
Just us.
Just really. Us, probably.
Because they say it's like if you're on a bus, there's always like that's how it works.
If we had travelled through Banff and Jasper on our own, we wouldn't have seen. Is it? And we're back. Yes. Yeah, I'm just saying that if we travelled on our own through Banff and Jasper, we wouldn't have seen half of what we've seen. So it's been amazing from that point of view. And you don't have to think very much. And I quite like that. You haven't had to, it's like, just be here at 8:30 and everything's sorted for you. So that's been I think that's been a great part.
It's definitely, from my point of view, I'm legendary for not liking mornings.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of early mornings without a shadow of a doubt. But it's forced me out of my comfort zone. But what I like about it is when they do make you get up early, the amount of stuff that you get through in that day, you would never, ever in a million years get through the sort of, I mean, the one day we went out, we must have gone to about 6 different places. We saw all sorts of stuff that we wouldn't have even known where to look.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it's like a big thumbs up, to be honest.
Yeah, thoroughly enjoyed it. If you want to come to a place and see as much as possible and explore tours for you, and you don't have to be sociable and you don't have to be with the group all the time. You can. There's some people that keep themselves to themselves, and there's some people that like to chat, like us. So you don't feel like you're confined, because you do have free time when you get to the hotels and stuff, and you can do your own thing. But it's not a huge amount of free time. But saying that, you don't have to do all the tours if you don't want to.
You don't have to do
Some
anything,
people opted out of them.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, Corinne saying, how have we coped with a 7, 8 and now 9 hour time change? I find it a killer. Do you know, coming over, when we go to east to west, we don't struggle very much at all. It's when we go back home and we go west to east, we find it really difficult. You know us in times, that's why we're so paranoid about this live, getting it right for 7 o'clock UK time, because you'll know what we're like, and the clocks change. And then, like you say, my computer was on Vancouver time. So thank you, Eric, for letting me know. He's one of our members in our Discord Patreon group. And he said, no, you're all set. Don't worry about it, because my computer's on Vancouver time. My phone's on Alaska time. So, and you know what we're like with time. We're always rubbish anyway, aren't we?
I don't know what time. And then just before this live started, there was an announcement. We've had to keep our door open to let the Wi-Fi in, so hopefully it'll keep coming through.
Yes.
But then there was an announcement saying that clocks are changing again tonight. I think this could, so it's going to go back to, because when we started, wasn't it 7 hours? Then it changed to 8. Then it changed to 9.
That's what Corinne said. Literally arrived in Ketchikan in Alaska, our last port, and we're gutted that it's our last port, because Alaska has just been amazing. I wish this cruise was 2 weeks long, because we could quite happily do more, couldn't we? Yeah. So, but anyway, let's get to the questions. So Patrick and Francis here, they just got off the Celebrity Beyond. Looks like you had a fabulous time. So great to see you here. Patrick said, how physically demanding was the land-based section of your trip?
Not overly physical demanding at all, to be fair. Nothing was long walks, and it's one of them ones again where you can do as much or as little as you want to. I mean, we went to one place, and there was this hiking trail you could go on. There's some people in our group who are all like Sport Billy, and they're off, even though, you know, everybody's of a similar sort of age. There's a few younger than us, but everybody's sort of our age or older, apart from just the odd couple, I think. Yeah. But if you want to get off and walk around these trails, you know, it'd be like, right, we're here for 3 hours, crack on, do what you want, make sure you're back here at this time. If you want to walk 500 yards, great. If you want to walk 5 miles, crack on. But there's no rules. There's no rules, and there's no like, well, if you don't, like, we've been so lucky with the weather throughout. We have. And we got to this one thing, and we'd already seen lots of stuff. And then she said, right, we're going to take you to this waterfall now, which is amazing. And before we got there, it started absolutely bucketing it down with rain. And when we pulled up, it's like, right, well, do you want to get off then? About 10 or 12 people got off. We didn't. No. Along with probably 30 other people. Because we were, because it was just, and then of course when they got back, they said it was the best waterfall they've ever seen. But they weren't prepared to show us any photos. We have had such fun banter with the other passengers. So let's see. So in case you can hear that noise in the background, we're on the flight path of the seaplanes. So Carole set the GoPro up earlier, and just she set it up and walked back in to start setting this up. A seaplane went over the top of our ship and landed. So hopefully she would have captured that perfectly. Ken's just asking, are we doing the lumberjack experience in Ketchikan? Yes, we are. As soon as we've done our live, we've got to go and meet in the
World Case Room. What is it? The World Showroom.
The World Case Room.
No.
That's your best
The
one.
big, the theatre. It's called the World Stage. World Stage. We've got a meeting there because we're starting as a tender in Ketchikan. Then about 1:30 apparently there's going to be space on the dockside, so we'll get off on a tender. But because we're in our suite, we've got a special ticket because we're special.
Like a Willy Wonka ticket. But somebody,
So, yes,
somebody said to me yesterday, and obviously I like being facetious, as I'm sure you know, and they said to me, "Can you tell me, is it a tender port tomorrow at Ketchikan?" I said, "Yes."
Yes.
And no.
Yeah.
And they sort of looked at me, "What do you mean yes and no?" Well, if you want to get off before 1:30, it's a tender port. And if you don't, it's not a tender port, because 1:30,
yeah, she'll
be parked up, and then you can do whatever you like. So we'll be tendering off, walking back on, which is the first time we've ever done anything like that.
Is that?
I've never tendered off and walked back on.
No.
No.
Let's have a look then.
Not even on an escorted tour.
Tina saying, how excited was it that we've hit? Yeah, we've just hit 5 million views on my YouTube channel. How bonkers is that? Yeah. So we're trying to catch up with our social media posts, but obviously all our patrons and YouTube members know. So if you want to be the first to know everything about us and have a chat with us every day on our Discord, then make sure you join our Patreon and YouTube membership. But let's go back up to the questions. Where was I? So let's see, because I don't want to miss anyone out. So let's go down to Lizzie Lou's here. So lovely to see Lizzie Lou.
Well, she cruises more than us, so I'm amazed
yes.
she's actually in the country.
And Hox Travels is here. So even in all, we are having an amazing time, and we don't want it to end. I think we both said this is one of the best trips we've ever done. Barbara's asking, what was the glacier and whale tour from Holland America or private? It was with Holland America.
It was with Holland America. What I can tell you is Holland America excursions.
Yes.
Are very, very expensive.
Yes.
There's no doubt about it. They are expensive. But I do have to say, the whale watching tour we did,
oh my God,
there was 20 people on our whale watching tour, including us.
Yeah.
We've done tours in the past, and it's like, oh yeah, there's like 85 people in your tour, and you're all sat on each other's laps and getting each other's way, and it was just awful. But on this tour, and even then, with only 20 of us, we had a lovely girl called Zoe who just graduated with like a doctorate of marine geology or whatever.
Yeah, and
so enthusiastic, it was unbelievable. Yeah. She was fabulous. And then we also had our bus driver who looked like Old Man Withers from the Haunted Amusement Arcade off Scooby-Doo. And his knowledge was phenomenal. And then when we got to the first place where we walked through the rainforest to see the glacier, even though there was only 20 of us, we got split into 2 groups. We went with Zoe. The other 10 went with Old Man Withers. Yeah. And so then our group was even smaller. So everything, so when she got to points of interest through the rainforest, it was, when they say gather round and there's 70, 80 you, it's hard to gather round, but it was fabulous. And she was showing us stuff in the fire. It was bonkers. Like, I've never seen anywhere that's everything was covered in moss. Everything, the ground,
and there's
the
like
trees,
about 400. Is it 400 different types of moss?
Hundreds and hundreds.
It was fascinating. You think, talking about moss, and they had wild lupins everywhere. It was just like all this. It was fabulous, wasn't it? And then when we walked down to the Mendenhall Glacier, we were actually on the other side of the lake, so you could see it there, which was pretty spectacular. And a seal popped his head up, and even Zoe said she'd never seen any seals in that area, isn't it? So the glacier was brilliant. The glacier that we did on Jasper National Park, we actually got onto a glacier, and I've forgotten the name.
Columbia Ice Field.
Yes, and that was magical. Amazing. We were in this massive truck, and well, everything's just been. This has been a trip full of like wow moments, hasn't it?
Yeah.
And the whales. Sorry, getting a bit emotional because. It is, though, isn't it? As soon as we see the whales, it was just like, oh my God, this is why we came to Alaska. And not only did we see 21 whales, we saw the whales doing this thing called bubble netting, which is so rare. You explain, isn't it? When they all no.
It's basically
it's been amazing.
You get the queen of the whale group.
Yeah.
She goes deep down into the ocean and she starts singing.
And he put a microphone in the water so we could hear her sing. No, it's true.
You tell her. You tell her, mate. You tell her.
So
she sings a song. I think it was it Mustang Sally or something she was doing, or My Heart Will Go On. But she's singing the song, and then all these other whales join in this group. And what they do is they swim around really fast like a tumble dryer, and they're blowing bubbles and they're creating bubbles with all the swimming around. And that confuses the fish and it corrals them. And the reason it's called bubble netting is because the bubbles form a net. Oh my God, that's amazing. And the fish get disorientated and they can't get out of the net, even though it's only bubbles in the water.
Yeah.
And then when they've corralled all these fish up, they come up.
All together. Their heads all together.
And then they go back down and they gobble all the fish up.
Yeah.
And what you'll see as well is tons of seagulls, so you know where to look for the bubble netting, because you'll see that the seagulls, they're the first to know what's going down.
Yeah.
And of course, when all the whales are coming up and going down, there's fish thrown about, fish coming up onto the surface.
And the whales have got their pectoral fin up in the water, so they're swimming around in a circle. And then obviously all their flukes, as they're called, their tails come up. I know we've learned so much about wildlife on this trip. And it was just, you know, one of those moments you think, oh my God, is this real? Wasn't it?
And it was. Oh no, it was.
So it's been. We've gone on a bit about saying was it private or not.
Yeah, that was. That's usually me who goes on a tangent, mate.
No,
properly tangent.
I would definitely. There's been a few people that've been on our tour that had difficulty booking tours before they got on the ship, and they've been gutted because they've missed out. So make sure when you book a cruise to Alaska, get your excursions booked. And we booked them a long time beforehand, didn't we? So.
And I don't want to harp on about them, but Dan the Cruiser, the reason we got all our stuff sorted out is because we've got the best travel agent in the world. Yes, we have.
Well,
what do you mean?
Yes, we have got a great travel agent.
He's the best. He's the best ever. The amount of people we spoke to in our Titan group.
Yeah.
It's like, well, yeah. I mean, I spoke to my travel agent and I emailed him. And I'd done this and I'd done that, but I couldn't book anything. And I think, well,
you've got the wrong travel agent.
You need to change your travel agent then, because if that had been us and we'd have had an issue, we'd have spoke to Dan, and Dan would have sorted it out.
Yeah.
But the amount of people, I mean, there was people like, have you got to check in for the cruise? Have you? Oh, where do we get our luggage labels?
One man didn't even have his ESTA to get into the US.
Nobody told him he needed ESTA. Well, I don't need one, because I'm going to Canada. Yeah, but Alaska's in America.
But anyway, time's a ticking, Annie Paulie.
So what's the key to a good holiday?
Get a good travel
agent.
Mark's here, so lovely to see you, Mark. So thank you for joining. We've also got Travel Johnny and Will in a very grey Belfast. So it is.
Very grey holidays.
Hoxtraver's asking a very good question. Is there anything so far you would change about your trip? I'd make it longer. I would love to spend another 2 weeks exploring Alaska. What? Why are you coughing? What would you change? Me? Oh, you wouldn't. So I can't think of anything to change. Would you? The last hotel we had in Kamloops, which is a very strange place, had the softest bed in the world, and we ended up squudged in the middle, didn't we? Like two.
From the first
hotel, but that's the only thing I can think of.
The first hotel we went to was called Royal Canadian Lodge, I think. We went in there. It was like you could have slept 40 people in there. There was 2 humongous beds. If you walk around the, I think when you see like 10 laps of the running track is a mile on a cruise ship. Well, I think 10 laps of our room would have been a mile. It was massive. And then the next one we went to was a little bit smaller, still with 2 beds, but the beds were slightly smaller. And then the last place we went to, it was smaller again. And I would describe the 2 beds as a 3/4 at best. And Carole wouldn't let me have my own bed. She said, no, because I want to snuggle up to you, honey, in the night in case the bear gets me. And we got in the bed and we literally just both went like that, where it was so soft. So, it was like,
so Karen's asking.
So just the last bed.
Happy you booked the Neptune suite? Oh my, so happy. It's been absolutely amazing, not only just for views, but the service that we've received, because you get access to the Neptune lounge, where there's Kevin, isn't it, and Diana, that are like your own personal concierge. You can have complimentary drinks and food in there. We've got access to the Club Orange, which is a private dining room, which we've had the most amazing food. Saying that, everyone that's not in Neptune suites have had amazing food in the dining rooms that we've spoken to, because it's the same menu but with a couple of added things, isn't it?
We get a couple of extra dishes thrown in for Club Orange's open breakfast and
dinner,
evening meal, no lunch. So there's a couple of extra things thrown in that you don't get.
Yeah.
But it's like, I'm going to give you 2 quick examples of how fabulous it is. Night before last, I had spring rolls to start, and Widdy,
the staff in Club Orange are fantastic.
He said, "Oh, Mr. Paul, he said, it's only 1 spring roll. I better put 2 on that." And I said, "Yeah, that'd be lovely." And then I had sweet and sour prawns. He's like, "Oh, Mr. Paul," he said, "I think it only comes with 4 prawns. You want more than that, won't you?" I said, "Yeah." So he doubled up on that. It was absolutely fantastic. So it's just like nothing is too much trouble. But like this morning, we nipped down for breakfast in readiness to come back to do this. And when we got to the floor where the main dining room is, the queue was right out the door, nearly to the stairs. So we had a job to get through. So if we had been breakfasting at the main dining room, we probably would still be there now, because it's but that's
what you pay for, isn't it? It's not cheap. So if the truth be known, if I could afford this type of cruising all the time, I would do it
every time.
But this is a special treat, and it's something we can't afford all the time, which is a shame, because the service we've had, we can't fault it, can we, Paulie? No. The comfort of the room, we've got a bubble bath, we've got.
But, I mean, if everybody watching now did a £500 super chat.
We could do it again. We're going to film our tour of the Neptune Suite tomorrow. We always like to do our tours once we've been living in the suite or cabin. So we'll make sure that obviously our videos will start going out after our Marella content's gone out.
And what it will be is it obviously in true Paul and Carole fashion, it won't just be a cabin tour. We like to, obviously we've lived in it now, we know all about it.
Yeah.
But it will be a cabin tour, but it'll also be, is it worth the extra money? And obviously we'll talk about.
Well, that's what Travel Johnny and Will is saying. Is it worth the extra money?
So we'll be telling you all about the perks and all about, is it worth it? And come into this neck of the woods, down and come on our balcony yesterday, because they were told, and it was a great piece of advice. Get yourself a cabana for the day that you're in Glacier Bay.
Glacier
Bay. But it started raining, so they were getting wet. So as soon as it started raining, we messaged them. We messaged our other friends, Mark and Marie. We messaged some people that we met on the
come
round, because you can get like about 40 people on our balcony.
Yeah,
and because the balcony above is sheltering you, it was fabulous. So even just for yesterday,
it was worth
with no perks whatsoever. It was worth the money.
It definitely was. And we've seen some calving of the glacier. I was stood trying to take a selfie, and I was standing for the wrong way. I heard the noise.
David Bailey, come on, Annie, let's have a selfie. So I'm facing the glacier, and it's all.
The noise was
going
really
on. Still behind me. Come on, Annie.
No, I turned around to see the ice fall and hit the water. Jerry had literally just turned his 360 off, so he was good. You had yours up, so we're hoping that you've caught it on. And Mark and Marie, he said that his camera was just slightly facing off, so we'll see. But we've got so much footage. I had to go out and buy a new Skagway. I had to go out and buy a new SD card because we've taken so much footage. It's such a beautiful, beautiful country, and we've just experienced so much, haven't we? Anyway, time's a ticking, look, so we need to get through these questions. So Barbara saying, thanks, Kevin, for taking care. He did take good care of us.
He's a top man.
He is a top man. So Kevin said he was stalking us. We are having an amazing trip, Claire. It's been absolutely awesome. So let's see what's the next question. Claire's saying, did we get smoky skies? We did a little bit, because there's been so many wildfires in Canada when we were in Banff, didn't we? And you could smell, but it did clear, didn't it?
We had the most bonkers chat at one of the hotels about wildlife and stuff. And one of the things that they said, that one of the biggest problems with the ecosystem in Canada is wild fires.
Wildfires?
Yeah.
Forest
fires are like a natural occurrence.
Yeah.
And what it does is it sweeps through stuff. It gets rid of stuff that doesn't need to be there, and then it all regenerates. But she said, of course, what's happening now is when there's a fire starts, they try putting it out, and she said that's real, and I know it sounds absolutely like it sounds like the dumbest thing I've ever heard, but she said it's bad to put the fires out. They should, they would do what they want to do, and then they will go out. She said the only thing is in that ecosystem, it's good. And I never thought I'd hear somebody saying, you know, if someone catches fire, it's going to be a good thing.
Yeah. Just scanning down the questions. Scotters. Oh, Dick's here. Just clicked on I'm from San Francisco. Hello to everyone out there in Alaska. It's actually been cold spots. Well, when we stood on the glacier, it was quite cold, but actually it wasn't bitterly cold.
And it wasn't too bad. It was, you know, we had like a coat on and a hat on yesterday, but it wasn't. Certainly wasn't as cold as I thought it was going to be.
Martin's here as well. So let's see Martin. He's always taking the mickey out of us on Instagram. And Dick's, where did I see the question that I thought? Scotters are saying, hey, Scotters, let's say it was 2,000 more to go Alaska over Norway. Would you pay it? Yes.
I think
Norway's,
I think a couple of days ago, I put an Instagram story on saying thus far, the scenery has been very reminiscent of Norway, which is not a bad thing, which it isn't. But when you get to places like Skagway and obviously Glacier Bay and places like that, that's when it goes up to the next level. And if we've had fantastic weather.
Yeah.
If you check out Andy and Kirsty's stuff, because they did this virtually the same cruise, but a month or so ago
in May.
So they had more snowy weather.
Yeah.
So it definitely looked more picture skew, I think is the word.
Yeah.
But we've had the benefit of, yes, not so much snow on the mountains and stuff like that,
but
we've
better
had fantastic weather. I mean, we a couple of trips we've been on, Carole's like layers. So I got my fleece, I got my jacket,
and we haven't really.
We're like, and then to end up, I got it all stuffed in my backpack. I look like the Hunchback of Notre Dame, and we're walking around in t-shirts. So I prefer, even though it's not quite so pretty to look at it this time of year, I would definitely rather do it this time of year and forgo the absolutely stunning scenery for slightly less stunning and be able to walk around without getting wet and cold and stuff like that.
Totally. And I think the difference between Norway and Alaska Alaska's the wildlife.
Yeah.
Definitely. I think Norway, in some ways, the fjords are more stunning than actually sailing on the coast of Alaska. But if you want to see wildlife, then we still haven't seen. Well, we think we've seen a moose, which was in the river. We didn't realize that mooses can swim. They can actually dive down about 20 feet, and they can hold their breath for 5 minutes. 5 minutes. And we've seen this big back, didn't we, sticking out of a river. So we think we've seen a moose, but we haven't seen one closer.
Either a moose or a elephant, we reckon.
No, it's not an elephant.
Oh, and I kid you not, our friends Mark and Marie, they were on their balcony, and the people on the balcony next to them were talking about all the wildlife. He said, "Yeah, when are we going to get to see some penguins?" It's
like, oh my God, you've not done your research. Anyway, let's have a look. So, let's see. We started in our cruise started in Vancouver and is finishing in Camp Vancouver. We haven't tried beaver tails, Ken, and Maureen's asking the same question. But we have seen the shop, and we're going to try some when we get back to Vancouver if we can find one.
But we do now know what it is.
We do now know what it is. Stephen's asking, did you try a duck fart? We did. That was in Juneau in the Red Dog Saloon, wasn't it? I thought.
Obviously, I videoed it. I have never seen such a palaver in all my life. And obviously, Carole didn't know what it was. She knew it was a drink. She didn't know. She thought it was a cocktail or something. So to sum up, for anybody who doesn't know, it's Baileys, Kahlua, Crown Royal, which is a whiskey, which is Jerry Canuck's favourite drink.
Yeah.
Now, it comes out and it doesn't seep into each other because of the viscosity. Oh, my God. Viscosity.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And then when the waitress brings it out, and she's dressed like a, 1800 and something saloon girl as well. So it's just fun. And the place is bonkers. You go in there, sawdust on the floor, all the decorations is mad.
And a man singing who's very, very funny.
Yeah. So she gives the drink to Carole, and there's a rhyme that goes with it, which goes quack, quack, not that. Thing,
naughty word,
poopy, rhymes with mitt back.
Yes.
Because if you knock it back, what happens then is all the three mix together into your mouth and forms this cacophony of loveliness. I'd say there's some words coming out today.
There is. Have you swallowed a dictionary?
Old Sippy McSlater there.
I couldn't.
It was really big. And she was like, I said, mate, because you got a quack, knock it back. She's like, sippy, sip, sip. So eventually, she knocks it back. The faces she's pulling is spectacular. And then the man singing stopped and looked across at Carole. Was that your first duck fart? So everybody then looks at her in the entire saloon.
I know. It's a bit embarrassing, but there we are.
No, it was hilarious.
Dave's asking, have you tried local Alaskan beer or ciders?
No ciders, but I have had some beer. Mark and Maria are big aficionados.
Yeah, when it comes to ales.
They love it. So when we were in
Skagway. Paulie's got a new shirt from Skagway. Do you like it? Stand up and show. Don't cross. No.
I can't do it.
I'll fight you with my bare hands. Oh dear.
So after we did a fantastic tour, which involved going up the mountain in the bus, coming back down on a train, and then we went to
that was fabulous.
The Red Onion Saloon, which used to be a brothel.
Yes, that was interesting.
And then we had some free time, and we went with Mark and Marie, and we went to 2 different breweries. So I tried they didn't have any name thing that I had heard of in the first place. So I had a amber something or other, which was all right. Carole had a Bloody Mary, which looked spectacular, but it wasn't spectacular to taste.
No.
And then we went to another brewery, and it was called a Wody, which was like a lager. But then Mark and Marie also had 2 different beers, which I tried some of theirs. So I have tried a few. And one of the ones I tried, which they do on the ship, is the one that they make from the pine needles.
The spruce. I'm just going to say talk about that because we've learned a lot about obviously the gold rush and that time, and when people came here and they didn't have enough vitamin C, and what they do is they eat the tips of the spruce trees, which are full of vitamin C. But people made tea out of it, but then some people then went on and made beer out of it. It's really interesting.
They do that beer on the ship. Because Mark was drinking it last night. But yeah, so I tried a little bit, but no cider at all. We went to one place and somebody asked for the cider and they didn't have it, and the only one they had was some rubbish with Strongbow or something. So, but yeah.
Carole's here, so lovely to see Carole. And what's the ship like? We're loving Koningsdam. It's a beautiful, beautiful ship. We're particularly enjoying the music walk, which has got 3 venues. You've got Julian Pianos, you've got the BB King's Blues Club, and you've got the Rolling Stones Rock Room, which I can't drag Paul out of because the rock band on here are absolutely phenomenal, aren't they? Paul and Mark, they love their rock music. Both say that it's the best rock band that you've ever seen on a cruise ship, isn't it? We're vibrating a bit here. Yeah. What's going on? Maybe it's turning around.
It's not even. There's nothing that even comes close to how good they are. I've put a few videos on with the stores and stuff, which it never does it justice when you're videoing stuff. They can do anything, and we've gone there every night. And last night was the first time that they'd repeated a song from the whole cruise. So bearing in mind they're doing 3 sets a night, 45 minutes a set. So that's quite a lot of minutes.
Yeah.
So it's 2.25 hours every night they're doing, and last night was the first time they repeated some songs. But what was great was the songs they repeated was some of the favourite songs.
And Tommy, the lead, he seems to be
he's the musical director as well.
He had this thing on his microphone going wow wow wow, and it was just what song was it?
It was Living on a It's basically it's linked to his guitar, and it's a pipe.
Yeah,
and you put it in your mouth, and you play a note on the guitar, and then you use your mouth. So it's like,
it was.
And Carole had never seen it before, but obviously Bon Jovi used it for Living on a Prayer. But it's been about for donks because Peter Frampton from back in the 70s, he did a song called "I Want You to Show Me the Way," and that at the start of that song, he uses that technique as well. So it's a very old technique, but I've never ever seen it done live.
But the ship's lovely. It's there's the ocean bars, there's quieter places you can sit. The Dutch cafe is fantastic, a lovely area that looks over to Promenade. I had the Dutch pea soup yesterday, which was absolutely delicious. There's nice outside space. There's an aft pool. There's a pool that's got a retractable roof, where there's a panorama bar and like the New York deli. There's lots of good eateries on board, isn't there? Obviously, because we've been a sweet guest, we've been going back to Club Orange for our main dinner, but we've had great pizza at the New York Deli. We went to they got a burger, what's it called? Dive In, where they do some fantastic hot dogs and burgers. On those areas, they also do breakfast. So there's lots of places that you can get breakfast, which is, and obviously there's a buffet, which we haven't got to yet.
No. Well, we have got to the buffet because one of the first nights, and it was well, she's pointing the finger. She's like, do you know, man, I'm a little bit peckish. Should we go up to the buffet? I said, oh, go on. And I said, I'm not bothered, to be honest. I wasn't bothered.
I fancied some crisps.
But as soon as we got to the buffet, Carole said, I can't find any crisps, but I got a bowl of poppadoms. And I thought, well, I'll just go and have a look. But I'm not really fussed either way, to be honest. And then I came back with 2 massive potatoes, beef brisket, cauliflower cheese and something else. So it was a good job I wasn't hungry, really.
I know. So, but that's a lovely area too,
that's
isn't it?
the only time we've been to the Oda buffet.
It is. So Frank and Jen saying I start tearing up with the whales. It was. You know, there's been so many whoa moments on this trip, hasn't? Wow.
Not whoa.
Tom and Dom's here. So nice to see you so excited. It is. We just don't want it to end, honestly. And oh my goodness, your Mustang Sally. They're very talented whales. Kevin saying, please hit the like button. Yes, if you enjoy our chats, please do give us a thumbs up, because that shows YouTube that you're enjoying what we do.
And if you don't enjoy them, why are you watching?
No.
Get them thumbs going. Get them going.
Get them going.
And tonight, so we've only at, like I said, Club Orange, a few other places, but for evening meals. But tonight and tomorrow night,
yes.
So we've now officially had our last Club Orange experience as far as dinner is concerned.
Yeah. Because
tonight we're going to Rudy's, which is a seafood
Sur
restaurant.
de la Mer.
And then tomorrow night
Tamarind.
we're going to Tamarind. Now, when we did the HAL cruise earlier in the year, Tamarind was our favourite restaurant of the whole lot, and one of the favourite restaurants we've ever been to.
Yeah.
So let's hope it's going to be on here.
We booked the Have It All with Holland America. You can have that. So you have your Wi-Fi, you have one complimentary specialty restaurant, and something else. What was it?
Oh, I don't know. I'd stop listening halfway through.
Anyway, so Tamarind's going to be a complimentary one, and we're going to pay for the Sur de la Mer. Cruising Gay is saying about can't wait for group cruises. How are your numbers looking? Busy. It's gone mental. But I also want to say we've a lovely gentleman emailed us to say that he's coming over from the States, I think California, and he's found a Oceania transatlantic cruise that matches. You get in a few days before our group cruise. Obviously, as Oceania aren't cheap, it's obviously a luxury line. But if people are looking at ways to get to the UK and you didn't want to fly, there's an option for you. So if you want more information about that, let us know and we can share what the lovely gentleman's told us.
Yes.
So, but yes,
we can't lie, it's busy.
Yeah.
It's surpassed.
Yes.
It's surpassed my expectations. It hasn't surpassed Carole because she thought we'd sell 1,000 cabins.
No, it did not.
But yes, we're well into 3 figures.
Yeah.
Of people, not cabins, but we're well into 3 figures.
Yeah. So Donna's asking, how was the Rocky Mountaineer? Oh my. Do you know, I spent my birthday on the Rocky Mountaineer and I thought, do birthdays get better than this? Now, we had a huge bonus with Rocky Mountaineer because when we booked, the gold leaf was all booked. So we booked silver. Now, the difference between silver and gold on the Rocky Mountaineer is basically the eye level that you're at. The Rocky Mountaineer gold leaf, you have a 2-story carriage. Silver, you have a 1-story, just a regular train carriage, and obviously you get more luxurious seat and it's heated, and the service you have a separate dining room in gold, whereas silver leaf you get served at your seat. Now when we got to the Rocky Mountaineer station, I looked at our tickets and it had JO6. I said, but that can't be right because there's a gold carriage with JO6 and we haven't paid for gold. So that must be a mistake. Anyway, I went up to the lovely man and said, look, we think we were in the wrong place. Can you help us? And he said, you're in the right place. He said, it's your lucky day. They've had issues with the silver carriage and the whole carriage was upgraded to gold leaf. And we're like, oh my God. So that was, it's making me go goosey now, because it was just, I'm getting emotional again. It was just such a brilliant way to spend my birthday. Oh my God, it's been an emotional roller coaster. I mean, so amazing.
One of the other reasons that we ended up booking this suite is I said to Carole, and I must admit, I still can't believe I said that because I'm proper tight. Because we'd saved quite a bit of money on not being able to book the gold.
Yes.
We put that towards
the suite.
Upgrading to the suite.
Yeah.
So then to get to the train station and be upgraded was fantastic. And I think the upshot was, we'd heard a few different rumors, but the upshot is, because there's no seats facing the wrong way.
Yeah.
And what happens is when they get to the end of the line, there's like a pedal on the seat that you press down and you turn the seat around. So then for when it's going back, because obviously it goes both ways. In the silver compartment, they had some issues with some of the seats that they couldn't turn around. Well, of course, they can't let some people go on there saying, oh, yeah, mate, you're facing the wrong, because you're on there for 2 days. You get off at the end of the first day and they put you in a hotel, and then you get back on in the morning. So you're on there probably 20 hours, like 10 hours, 11 hours a day, 20, 22 hours. So obviously all the seats have to be facing the same way, and because otherwise it would just drive you mad. Yeah. So because of that, they actually put an extra carriage. We knew there was an availability because we tried booking it. Yeah. So they actually put a whole extra carriage on. But what they did is said, you're not going to have the full gold experience, which basically meant if you were in the genuine gold, you had a larger choice of menu. Yeah. I think you probably got more drinks,
more bubbles.
And when it was meal times, you go downstairs to the dining car, whereas we were served at where we were sat, which was still great.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
The leg room you had, Carole could put her legs straight out in front,
and I couldn't reach the seat in front.
Touch the seat in front. And and you know the difference in leg room, because one of the guys was telling us, what was his name, Angus. He was from Abergavenny, wasn't he?
He was.
He didn't have a Welsh accent at all. He's from Abergavenny. He's been over there. He followed his heart, and he's over there with a girl, and he's loving life. And he said that the silver, you got trays in the back of the seats. So obviously you have to be close enough to that tray to be able to eat, which means it sounded to me like you would have similar sort of leg room to what you would on an airplane. Whereas like you could get up and like do the twist and, with the amount of space we had. So it was fabulous.
Yeah.
So the upshot is, yes, it was amazing. But if you're going to do it, pay the extra money and get gold.
Yeah.
As long as you can, because obviously we couldn't, but we did. But it's definitely worth the extra. It's about £400 more each, something like that.
Yeah, it's not cheap.
It's a lot of money, but it's well worth it.
If we did it again, because the silver, you're at the tree line a lot. Gold, the views are better, so we would definitely do that. I'm just going to whiz back up to the top because
just in case anyone's done them £500 super chats.
No. Mr. BBT's our new patrimonial subscriber. I love your channel. Yes, thank you so much for supporting us. That's really, really helpful. And he's also asking what got into cruising. Basically, I worked as a nurse many years ago on a cruise ship in the early 90s, and I knew that I always wanted to go back on a cruise holiday at some point. But then cruising wasn't so affordable, and obviously when you're younger you don't have as much sort of disposable income as thankfully we do now after saving all these years. So when I met Paul, I said to him, let's go on a cruise, and he was like, oh, why would I want to do that? I don't want to be on a ship. And
sorry, I have to go. I just realised I left the milk out the fridge.
Look, they give you in the little milk bottles. How cool is that? So you order your breakfast, which you've had, and we've had afternoon tea delivered. But anyway, back to cruising. And it took me 7 years to talk Paul into doing our first cruise. And we went on the Navigator of the Seas, Royal Caribbean, for a 5-day cruise from Barcelona. And within hours of us getting on the ship, he looked at me and said, why haven't we done this before?
I looked at her and said, I can't believe you wouldn't let me go on the cruise.
So that's where it all started. So Mandy's asking, we are cruise virgins, but after watching you both for weeks, we've now booked 3. Oh my God. Any top tips for newbies, and which is your favorite cruise line? top tip for newbies: go with an open mind and make sure you read the program. I'm sure I got a program, because on Holland America, can you see there? You get a daily program delivered to your room, so it's got all the information in there of what's going on around the ship. So make sure you study that, and so that you have a plan, because there's so much going on around the ship. If you don't have a plan of your day, you'll miss out. But just go with an open mind and just try things that you wouldn't normally try. I think that's what we try to do, isn't it? So, oh, that's different. Well, we enjoy it. If you don't enjoy it, don't do it again. Yeah. But if you don't try it, you never know.
So always try. That's why we got an upside down pineapple on our door, isn't it?
No, we haven't. Oh, no, we haven't. And favourite cruise lines is a difficult one. So because there's so many cruise lines that offer something. So that's such a hard one to answer. So I'm going to move on.
So she's going to be like a politician. And
no, well, it's difficult, isn't it? Because, if you want fun, go with Carnival or Marella. If you want to be posh and dress up, go with Cunard. If you want to be really bizarre and do whatever you want to do, go with Virgin. It's just like, there's so much variety out there. Right, let's see, because I want to make sure that we see what questions. Fraser's here. So lovely to see you're on a ship in Alaska on live. We are. How amazing is that? And Mandy said on Marella voyage, it was definitely a pig.
Yes,
it was a dog.
Man. It was a pig, man.
If anyone's right. Going back to our Marella voyages, I nearly finished editing a video before we left, and I thought, I'll have time when we're away. I've had no time at all. I've done very little work, and actually it's been great. So there's no video out tomorrow, but do check out our ones that are already out.
When she says she's done very little, she's done nothing.
I know. I'm on holiday.
Well, this is the cheek of it. So I'm in my favourite place on the ship, which is the Rolling Stone Rock Room. I'm watching the band. It's 10 o'clock at night, and she nudges me and says, "Oh, if I give you my phone, do you fancy writing a paragraph about yesterday?" It's like, I do mind.
Yeah, we've spent 2 days behind with our social media posts anyway, but we will get to them and show you everything. But like you say, it's we don't want to be working when we're away. Don't. Claire's here. Lovely to see Claire. Hope your dad's doing okay. And just lovely to see you here. Oh, Gary's here. Gary's currently on. Oh my gosh, I've forgotten.
Well, he's somewhere between
Norway and Iceland. Yeah.
Are we in your suite, Gary?
No, Gary would never book an half suite.
Oh, no,
he likes one right in the middle. So I can see, Gary, thank you for putting us on to what a Neptune suite is like, because it's been absolutely phenomenal.
Neptune stew. Is that one of the dishes at Ruder's seafood restaurant?
Maybe. Yeah. But it's been absolutely phenomenal. So thank you for introducing us to your style of travel. Sadly, we'll see, isn't it? See how things go. So Julie's asked about Banff. What did you think of Banff? Did you go to Banff Springs? In Banff, we did a lot of the Banff National Park. We went past the Banff Springs Hotel, which is supposed to be haunted, isn't it?
Yeah, the story goes that somebody murdered his wife and 2 children.
Yes.
And then years later, if you stayed in that room, the electricity would go off, all the lights would go off, and when the lights came back on, there was bloody handprints on the wall, and even when they were cleaned off, they reappeared.
Yes.
What a load of rubbish.
No. The room's been closed off now. They don't let anyone stay there because there was so many people that had that experience. So we wouldn't catch me in there. What do you mean? So, but loved Banff. Banff is a very busy town, but lots of great restaurants. We ate with Kevin twice. We went to the was it called the Grizzly
House?
Grizzly House, which is like a fondue. One of the options, you could have rattlesnake and what was the other bizarre thing on there?
I asked for a crocodile sandwich, make it snappy.
I went for the safe option, beef and chicken, as did Kevin. Paul went a little bit. You had buffalo, you had beef, buffalo, elk, and venison, didn't you?
Well,
and they come with these lovely sauces, and they had a cheese fondue and a chocolate fondue. It was amazing.
Have you told them what the difference between a buffalo and a bison?
No.
You can't wash your hands in a buffalo.
Oh dear.
Oh, I have to tell you this. I do apologise. Let me just tell you this. They were on the subject of bad jokes. I went to the quiz yesterday with Mark and Marie, And it was called the lightning trivia. So they asked a question, you only had about 10 seconds, and then it's on to the next question. And one of the questions was, Google Claire's here, so she'll know the answer to this. What is the fastest fish in the ocean? And it was all quiet. And I looked at, and Mark and Marie are very, very smart. They know so much trivia, it's unbelievable. And I looked across at Mark and Marie. I said, is it a motor pike and side carp? And they absolutely lost it. It was like so. And they said,
see, I have to put it all the time.
Don't you dare shout that out. Apparently, it wasn't that. So, what is the fastest fish in the ocean?
Yes.
Let's see
if anyone's answered it already. Not yet.
Let's see that.
Right, let's go back up. Where were we?
And Gary, yeah, sorry, you went on to Gary.
Yes, he's enjoying followership, which is great. So, Fraser asked, can't wait what we think of HAL. We're really enjoying Holland America. We love the experience. Yeah. The staff on here are exceptional, not just because we're in a suite, all around the ship, a bit like Marella, isn't it?
Yeah.
They seem very happy. They're always willing for a chat, and we've been very, very impressed. So Frank's saying, did we see some moose? We hopefully did in the river. We think we did, but we haven't seen one. So yeah, that's been.
We've seen a bear.
We've seen a bear. Yeah, it was the we were on the coach just getting into Jasper. Did you see any moves? Yeah, that was our. Do check out our shorts on YouTube, because Paul's been putting a few on, and one of the ones we did a bit of a silly Snapchat filter. So, and that's got a lot of attention actually. So, and Lou saying, was the Wales as breathtaking? Honestly, it was absolutely amazing.
So where's Rebecca from then? The reason why
I started following code they speak. Probably on the West Country somewhere. Janet's asking, how does this compare with Australia? You can't compare the two because they're so different. From a wow sort of, like, why do I keep saying wow? From a wow perspective, Alaska's wowed us more, but there was some fantastic. What Australia's got beaches and great cities. We loved Australia. This is just totally different. It's very hard to compare.
So it's very hard to compare.
Yeah.
You tried comparing it, even though you said you can't compare it. Then you tried comparing it.
Jack's asking, would we go on the train again? Yes, I would. In fact, as soon as I got off that train, the first thing I Googled, what the most iconic train trips around the world. Because you think sat on a train for 10 hours, 2 days running, oh my God, that's going to be boring. Not at all, because there's lots of people we're having lots of banter with. There was great food. You could go out on the observation deck, couldn't you, and just watch the platform. And it was just the scenery was ever changing. And the first part we were up against all the lots of trees and waterfalls and stuff, and the second part was very more open, wasn't it? And it was brilliant. So that's definitely want to do more escorted tours. Escorted tours, and definitely want to do more train journeys. So Tina said, yes, no, that's about the 5 million views. Yeah, we're so chuffed. Catherine's saying she loved her Alaska. She's going again. I can see why. I definitely want to come back to Alaska, and I want to do Princess and Holland America both do land tours that attach to cruises. And I think next time I want to do the land tour in Alaska, because we've now done it obviously in Canada. So that'll be a next trip that I want to do. Hopefully, well, money-wise, it probably won't be till sort of 2026.
Oh no, once them super £500.
Well, once the £500 super chats come in, we might be able to do it next year.
We're going to do it next week.
Oh, so let's see. So Lisa's here. Nice to see you from Calgary. Jason, I pay to see the pair of you on the log in the water with the lumberjack show. We're looking forward to that. We're
going to be all over that, mate, aren't we?
Yeah, I don't think we could take any photos or footage, so that'll be a bit shame. Mike's saying, right then, Paul and Carole love to lumberjack. So Deborah's saying, yeah, all of you YouTubers seem to be doing that. There's a lot of people come to Alaska because it's opened up. And I can see why people want to come here, because it is absolutely amazing. Hillary's asking, do we do an excursion at Juneau? And is it easy to just get off the ship and explore? Yes, we did do an excursion in Juneau where we went to the Mendenhall Glacier and
whale watching.
Of course we did. Is it easy to get off the ship? Yes, both Juneau and Skagway, very easy, very flat surfaces for mobility scooters as well to get around. So it is easy.
Scarily, we were doing a piece to camera about Skagway, and I said what I really liked was that all the sidewalks, as you Americans call, or pavements as we call it,
Yeah.
are all wooden boardwalks.
Yes.
And Carl went, were they?
Oh, I didn't notice
We
that.
walked around there for about 3 hours on these wooden boardwalks. Oh, I didn't notice that.
I just love it's like going to it's going to the frontier, isn't it? But it's like being in a cowboy movie in some ways, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's we've never experienced anything like this, and it's just fabulous. Elaine, with good plan here. Look, Paulie, if you don't want to go home yet, you can hop on the Crown Princess in Vancouver on July the 25th for a 10-day round trip.
Ooh.
Oh. No, we better get home because we've got New York next month, so that'll be interesting. But we've seen the Crown Princess, we've seen a few princess ships, we've seen the Eurodam, we've seen the Celebrity Solstice. What else have we seen? Apparently in Ketchikan today there's an NCL ship, so that's always good to do a bit of. But I do believe, that we did Glacier Bay yesterday. That was just, oh my god, another emotional. This is just fabulous. And we only seen Princess and Holland America getting in. So I do believe that they're the only two companies, if you want to do Glacier Bay, which if you're coming to Alaska, you've got to do it because it's just everywhere you look, there's just glaciers and you get to see that amazing calving. Is it calving? Calving when the ice falls off.
As we were coming in to where the Marjorie Glacier is.
Yes.
The Princess ship was already leaving, so I'm assuming that it's only one at a time anyway. And it was the first time that the Princess ship had been in front of us, actually. So I think we got the better deal because if they were already leaving, I don't know what time they would have been getting there. Quite early in the morning, definitely, because we started seeing stuff.
But we've had great weather, and then all of a sudden the rain came just as we were going to Gloucester Bay, and we're like, oh no. But as soon as we actually got deeper into the fjord, or whatever you call it, the sun came out, and it was like, oh my god, we were just so blessed. Seagulls, beware. Talking about seagulls, we came back in the cabin just to warm up a little bit, and we walked out, and there was a big fat seagull on our balcony, and Jill had a camera out ready because we were just having a bit of a breather and coming in for a warm and a cup of coffee, and she managed to get it, didn't she? I think. See if we can find it. But that was quite funny. And he just stood there for ages. He was a real big one, but luckily he didn't nick anything. Yeah. See, Barbara's saying, "Look, Paul, you certainly would not change, Carole. You're a great team."
No.
So. Tony's off on a Baltic cruise, so enjoy. And Claire grew up in Kamloops. It's a desert. It is, and that really surprised us being in Canada, and we were in a desert. With the temperature, it was so hot, and the guy on the coach was telling us that how cold it gets in winter, which we didn't expect to go to a desert in Canada. It's just been we've seen so much. Let's have a look what we got. There's the Beaver Tails. No, we may have already stopped. At what port did we start? Yeah, Vancouver. We started our Jill managed to get a.
You see that? That's Jill having a selfie.
Yeah, with a seagull.
With a seagull on our balcony. And he kept saying, "Mine."
I know, didn't. Scott's saying you're just basically planning out my retirement trips when it finally arrives. Quite a few more years to go. Yeah, don't wish your life away, but we're having the best retirement, isn't we? Well, I am. Paul's still doing a bit of work, and thank you, Al. That and Al. Al's been looking after Paul's things. I've sold 3 cars since I've been on. I might not never go home. I know. I've worked harder since I've been on here because obviously I've been doing all the social media. This one here has done nothing. I've done nothing. He's done stories. Who writes some of them? Who writes the posters going out today? Some of them do, and I tweet. Who wrote it? You started off right. Now I finish it off. It's true. You cheeky monkey. Yeah. Well, if you don't follow us on Facebook and Instagram, please do, because obviously we post a lot there most days. Canada has a strange weather. Yeah, it does. It does. And it's so big, isn't it? It's because being from the UK, we think, oh my God, traveling to Scotland, we'd never drive there. It's 6 hours. They just don't think anything of driving. A bit like Australia. It's like going to the shops. Yeah. Nip to the shop for me. Yeah. See you tomorrow. Yeah. So let's think. Kevin's here. Celebrity Kevin. No, how are you doing?
not to say this, like Joey. Hey, how you doing?
Yeah, that's it. And Lynn was asking about the gold leaf. Is it worth paying? Hopefully you've heard our explanation. Yes, it is. Scott is saying about the late night buffet. We've only been there once, but Paul made the most of it.
That'll set me up for 8.
Set me up for 8. Cruising Gaze saying, we've just tried to book our MDR reservation for the group cruise. Australian slot dining rooms a bit every slot, but Celia isn't showing up. Do you have any insider knowledge? Not yet. But when we get home, we're going to have a look at that. So message Dan.
First off, I cannot believe how organised you are to be looking at that already.
Wow.
That's just bonkers.
Because some things might not be available yet.
Yeah.
But Dan will be the man because he's been on recently on Sky Princess, and also he's just full of knowledge. Travel Lizzie Lou saying, this chat's making me excited about going to Gloucester. I think of doing the train Gary did in his vlog. The Skagway Railway. I think you're on about Lizzie Lou, and that was fantastic. It was really weird because we got on a coach to go to the train station, which is in Fraser. We had to take our passports because you actually go into Canada to come back out of Canada to get back in Alaska. We all had to sit on the coach with holding our passports by our face when the customs come on. So that was weird, wasn't it?
It was weird. There was, we said about there always being like a nutter on the bus. There was this one woman that when the bloke went up to her, he said, oh, ma'am, can you get your hand off your picture?
Yeah, I had
and
my hand over my face.
This woman, mad woman, was covering her picture.
That was me. That was me. Let's see. Yeah, Rhonda, so much more info on Oceania. Yes, that is an option. So Rhonda, drop us a message and we can put you in the right direction. Oh, Len said the Wave Awards. Yeah, we're up for an award with the Wave Awards. So if you want to vote for us, then please do.
What a shocker when it came out. Oh, it's too close to call. We're keeping the vote open for another 2 weeks. What a load of
Poorly.
Honestly, we're keeping it open for another 2 weeks so we can get more email addresses to hang people to book cruises through the world of cruising. That's about the way to it. Anyway. But if you want to vote for us, it'd be great.
Yeah, exactly that. Do you know, did you visit the container food area for lunch or a yummy treat? No, we didn't. I don't know what that is. Oh. We've not heard of that. Oh, Richard Henry. Hi, nice to see you guys. What's the temperature weather like? Lovely. We're there on Eurodam. We were with Eurodam and Janelle. Yeah, so it's been lovely. I would still pack a coat and just put layers. We've just you just stamped on my foot.
Oh, get it out of the way then.
But it's been great. Let's have a look. Where are we? Oh, Lynn's motorhome in Derbyshire. Just joined, so we'll have to watch on catch up. No problem.
Google Claire is wrong, I'm afraid, with Barracuda, but I can see the right answer.
Which
Kevin B. Leopard. The fastest fish. Well, I mean, I don't know.
Maybe there is a leopard fish. But the winner and the first person to say it is Mike.
Mike Aquino.
It's the sailfish.
It's the sailfish, yeah. Oh, and Kevin's got sailfish as well.
Oh, yes. Close second, Kevin. Next is a tuna.
Well, that's Kevin. Kevin, you can't just keep throwing answers on there. I'm sorry, but you did get your first answer, which I'll take, was correct.
Yeah, lots of people going for tuna, look.
Yeah, Pacific sailfish, Jenny the cruise commander. Nobody's agreed with me, motor pike and side carp.
No. Kevin's just putting a few links up there. If you want to look at our shorts of us being a little bit silly, then pop up them there. And also, if you want to support us like Kevin does, and then lots of others, then that's our Patreon link too. Kenga Cruising got sailfish. And Ron saying they've loved our enjoying daily up to how much you've loved my area, Alberta. It's beautiful. Yeah, Canada, we've loved Canada, and we will definitely be back. In fact, we're on Gary's group cruise next September, and we're already arranging with the Cruising Canucks to maybe meet up with them to explore their part of Canada for 2 weeks before we get on that cruise, because the people are lovely. It's just a beautiful, beautiful place. The only thing we didn't like, Air Canada. Now, that's a funny thing. Air Canada were very grumpy, weren't they?
Oh, it was the grumpy of grumpiness.
Yeah. And we thought, is this what Canadian people are like?
And obviously they're not.
No, they're not.
They wouldn't let Carole use the toilet because it was premium economy toilet, despite the fact that we couldn't get to our toilet because they blocked it with their drinks cart.
Yeah.
And then, could I have another beer, please? No. 10-hour flight, 2 drinks.
Yeah.
10-hour flight.
So yeah.
And it's like, are you paying for these drinks yourself, you miserable buggers? Give me a drink.
Yeah, so Air Canada, we wouldn't book them again out of choice.
And to be fair, the Cruising Canucks, when we said we were flying on Air Canada, they were like,
good luck
with that.
And Kevin said the same. Yeah. Oh, how was it? And we're like,
grumpy mofo.
Grumpy, yeah, grumpy. Philip is asking which way we're going on the QM2. In August, we're off to New York and sailing back for Paul's birthday. We're coming from New York to Southampton.
And we're going to be meeting one of Carole's friends.
Yes.
She worked on a cruise ship with 33 years
ago. I know, it's going to be amazing. Kevin saying, mine. Seagulls. And Mary saying it sounds like a firing a gun after a minute before the Glacier cut. Yeah, it does. It's like this huge. Yeah.
But Carole made me laugh because obviously she was doing a selfie for the cafe, and they said, "Oh, it's going to go again." I heard it. I said, "No, mate, that's next door's cabin door shutting."
Dick's asking, are you allowed to post the link to in the description when the live's finish? You'll find it there, Dick. Yeah. You'll find all the. No, Kevin's already done it there. Yeah. Oh, well done, Kevin. Yeah. He's a good egg, isn't he? So, and please hit the like button. Yes, please do that. I'm just aware of the time. It's 5 minutes, but I'm happy to answer any more questions that you have. Go up.
Sally.
Where's Sally?
Down right below.
Could you say right there?
From Alaska.
Kevin said Air Canada boo. Sally says she's got a serious question. I've never done a cruise. Wish to try Cunard. What should I try? Have a wonderful time. See a bear.
We've seen a bear. Cunard, I think, Cunard gets a bad rap of some people who say it's too formal, and even when you go to bed, they do like spot checks in the middle of the night to make sure you got your dinner suit on. It's not the case at all. You can dress as casual as you like on the formal nights. Everybody makes the effort and dresses up, which I think is fantastic.
Yeah.
But if you don't want to, they will give every day when Carole going back to her cruise news type thing and whatever that's called on Cunard, every day they tell you the dress code.
Yeah.
And today it's so-and-so. And if you don't want to dress so-and-so, this is the places you can go to eat. So there's no issues whatsoever. If you love dressing up, you'll love it.
Yeah.
If you don't love dressing up, you'll love it.
Yeah.
The food's great. The service is great. The entertainment's great. The big band night in the Queen's Room is worth the admission fee alone. It's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. You don't have to pay for it. You need to pay.
I'm
cruise
the price of the cruise. And if you love dancing, whether it's
ballroom
doing the dancing or watching the dancing,
a
night in the Queen's Room will blow your mind because it's fab. It's special.
On our website,
do it.
We've got a whole section about Cunard, and in there is all about the dress code, about all our experiences. So make sure you check that out, Sally. Even Nick says Air Canada is kind of bad.
And Nick's Canadian, so he knows as well.
Philip has booked on the same one as us then. It'd be lovely to see you again. Oh, fabulous. So Dick's found the link, so that's good. HAL at the moment are doing cruises for £1 deposit. So,
and even more bonkers. This is the most bonkers thing ever. Didn't affect us at all because
we're back.
And anyway, we've gone over the hour, so I'm so pleased with how this has gone.
Yeah.
So I went to the quiz yesterday with Mark and Marella, and so I'm going to finish this story then. I think we're going to call it a day because obviously it's buffering a lot now.
Yeah.
They ordered a drink and they said, have you seen the prices of these drinks? And they did a happy hour yesterday, all to do with Holland America's 150th anniversary. And there was 6 drinks on this special, and the dearest of the 6 drinks was 75 cents, and the cheapest was 25 cents.
Yeah.
So I would imagine, because when I went to the quiz yesterday, I thought, God, it's so busy. So busy around the ship. Every bar was rammed, and obviously that's why every bar was rammed, because you could get a drink for 25 cents.
Yeah, we've got the drinks package, and the selection on there is really good. We haven't even thought that we needed to upgrade or anything.
No.
Anyway, I think we need to wrap it up because we've gone over the hour. But I couldn't say thank you so much for everyone that joined us. Paul's here. We didn't spot you there, Paul. Lovely to see you. We are having a fabulous time. I know Paul and Gaynor went to Alaska a few years ago, but we just want to say thank you so much for joining us. Sorry the Wi-Fi's been a little bit buffery, but we can't control that. But we're pleased that we've been able to chat with you,
fab, yeah.
and it's been great. We'll be back home next week, and we'll be back to our normal Thursday night live. And tomorrow we haven't got a new Marella video going out, but just check out our playlist because there's lots of other videos that you can watch if you haven't watched them at all. So yeah, anything to add, Pauline?
We might not be back to our Thursday night live next week for reasons.
Oh,
yeah. So
that's true. We've had some really sad news about a very close friend. Yeah, I'll let you know. We'll have to have a rethink about that.
So it might
true.
It might be a day early.
It may well be on Wednesday, but we'll let you know. We'll have a think about that. So yes. So Paul is here as well. So many people. Sorry, I haven't given you a mention, but it's really hard to keep up. But we've got to go because we're going. I'm going to go and see some hunky lumberjack men. Woohoo! You'll enjoy it, honey.
It's just like I'm not even in the room.
Right. Bye for now, and we'll catch up soon.
It's been a pleasure as always.
Yeah.